Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayapataka Swami Maharaj.
The following is a lecture given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami on December 29, 1982 in Atlanta, Georgia. The class begins with a reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Verse 26.
The first step in God realization. Text 26, Chapter 1, Canto 2. Patalang itasya hi padang mulang patanti parshni prapade rasatalam mahatalang visva srijota vrulpa talatalang vai purushasya janghe Padalametasya hi padamula. Janghe, the shanks. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the Universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Outside the bodily existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the manifested cosmic existence has no reality. Everything and anything of the manifested world rests on Him, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. But that does not imply that everything and anything in the vision of a materialist is the Supreme Personality. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord. But the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording it over is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitation of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord. And as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat, realization, will have very little effect on the seer. The Transcendental Lord, in any conception of His form, is never a part of the material creation. He keeps His identity as Supreme Spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities. For everything material is contaminated. The Lord always exists by His internal energy. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. 7 planetary systems called Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, Mohar, Janas, Tapas, and Satya are upward planetary systems, one above the other. There are also 7 planetary systems downward known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mohatala, Rasatala, and Patala. Gradually, one below the other. In this verse, the description begins in the bottom because it is in the line of devotion that the Lord's bodily description should begin from His feet. Sukadeva Goswami is a recognized devotee of the Lord, and he is exactly correct in the description. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 26, in the matter of the first step in God realization. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always to be approached first by His lotus feet. We first take the darshan of the Lord, we meditate on the Lord, we offer arti to the Lord first at His lotus feet. We take the humble position, and therefore we approach the Lord first at His lotus feet. Of course, there's no difference between the Lord's lotus feet or His lotus hands or His lotus face. They're all transcendentally situated. They're all on the absolute platform. But it is a symptom of humility and subservience that the devotee looks at the lotus feet of the Lord first. Lord Chaitanya, he prayed Padapada Pankaja, that he could just be Padaduli. He could become just one of the particles of dust on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Actually, this is our supreme place of shelter, the lotus feet of the Lord. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is always massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. The pure devotees are described as bumblebees who are drinking the nectar of the honey flowing from the lotus feet of the Lord. You see, they perform devotional service and thus they're able to taste that nectar. The meditation, therefore, of Sukadeva Goswami, first on the lotus feet of the Lord, has shown here very emphatically that although he was a very great, impersonal, realized soul, now he's completely absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, he's looking first at the lotus feet of the Lord. Each planet, one after another, is arranged in the universe. Now, it is not that geographically all of the planets are just lined up like that. There may be a certain cluster where one planet is higher. Just like the Chandralok is considered to be a heavenly planet, or the moon is considered to be a heavenly planet, meaning that the residents living there are on a higher type of dimension or level of existence than those who are living, say, on the earth planet, or those who are living in the hellish planets or the lower planets. Our understanding of hell here is probably a little different. That some of these lower planets are hellish, but still there's material enjoyment there. And some of them are just very painful. So for the devotees, for the pious people, both of them, so-called enjoyment and so-called pain without any God consciousness, are both painful. Srila Prabhupada said that there are some of the lower planetary systems where people are just having sex life 24 hours a day. It's just non-stop. This is considered to be a hellish planet. Forget art, forget science, forget this sex. That's all it is. Right? So that everybody is completely in hell, inflamed with so many desires. You see, so the idea of hell, some of the materialists, you see, they have desires like that. They may go to one of these planets. They'll think that, well, that's the best thing. So in that way, heavenly planets doesn't mean that there's a lot of simply gross sense gratification, but the sense gratification there is of a altogether different standard. And it also has a lot of recognition and glorification of the Supreme Lord is going on. You see, but generally, The difference between any planet in the material world and in the spiritual world, even if the people are devotees, is the people, the persons living in those particular places, even if they accept God, actually they're materialistic. Their desires are also material. Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, apparently one day he was walking along, and all of a sudden he looked up at the moon and pointed and said, "The Chandaloke Bashi Bahirmukhachi." That the residents of the moon planet are all materialistic. We have to go there and preach to them. The devotee of the Lord, his idea is how to make all the people, no matter whether they are in heavenly planets or earth planet, wherever, to make them really God conscious. That means here, beginning with service attitude. Normally, all the devotees in the material world want God to serve them. What has God done for your life? Right? Isn't that what they say? What has He done? They want to know, what service has God done for you? What will God do for me if I chant His name? Of course, if you're the servant of God, then automatically one does get so many benefits. There's no doubt about it. In fact, even more than one who is not in that service role. But the attitude of the devotee is rather, the pure devotee is trying, let me please Krishna. If Krishna is pleased, everything will be perfect. You see, while the materialist, even if they're devotee of God, let me serve God and let God please me, then everything will be perfect. Meaning, please my body. Because they're in the body consciousness. So, they have a separate interest. This is explained in the 4th canto Bhagavatam by Kapila Muni, that those who are mixed, devotion mixed with Tama, mixed with Raja, and mixed with Sattva. I think we discussed this here at one class, didn't we, before? Long time ago? I thought we hit it in Atlanta. How devotion in Tama is tinged with anger, envy, resentment, vengeance, illusion, things like that. Say someone's very angry. Well, I'm going to show that person through my devotional service. That's devotion tinged with anger. It's motivation. That's your motivation. You want to show someone else. Or a person is just angry all the time at others. He may be devotee, but always criticize, always angry at others. Always despondent, always in a negative mood. There's devotional service, but there's some tama, ignorance mixed there. It's not pure. Therefore, that person has got some kind of a separatist mood in terms with the Lord. He cannot get very intimate in his devotional service. Then, there's devotion mixed with raja, with the mode of passion. Kamesa, krodesa, raja guna samabhava. Well, here in raja guna, that means that the person is desiring better material situation. I'll perform devotional service, but I need a better material situation. Or desire for elevation to the heavenly planets. This type of desire of some kind of fame, prestige, or some type of better material position in exchange for devotional service is a slight mixture of the Rajaguna, and there's also there a tinge of separatist mood from the Lord. It's called Pritak Bhava, to have a separate mood. The mood is not that may Krishna be pleased. I'm serving Krishna, so why I'm not getting my material facility? You see, there might be that type of feeling. Why Krishna is not making me comfortable? I'm serving him. And so if we start to relate and expect Krishna to give us a comfortable material situation in exchange for devotional service, it can bring in a tinge of Rajaguna. That our motivation will be happy in our devotional service if we're materially comfortable. And if we're materially uncomfortable, we'll feel some dissatisfaction. We don't want to feel satisfaction over material comfort. That has nothing to do with pure love for Krishna. We don't care, we don't want to feel dissatisfaction over material discomfort. We have a body, you can't help but feeling some amount of sensation over being materially, bodily, physically comfortable or uncomfortable. You can't help feeling some sensation. But that, we don't want that to be our standard for being satisfied or dissatisfied. Until we get pure love for Krishna, we don't want that flow of enthusiasm, of determination to ebb, to even decrease an iota through some self-satisfaction that now I'm comfortable. Then we may get stuck up there. We may not get pure bhakti. We may not get pure love for Krishna. You see, so that's something a devotee has to see, that this Rajaguna does not enter into the devotion and give us some kind of a separate feeling from pure devotion, separate from the Lord. Even the mode of goodness can also bring in a separatist type of mood from the Lord. A devotee who maybe is doing puja very carefully, thinks he's better than others. I don't forget which category that fits. That was mentioned there in the Bhagavatam. Then also the person is doing devotional service and wants to achieve liberation, wants to end birth, death, old age, and disease. And that is the condition that for my service I want that birth, death, old age, disease should be finished, you see, in this very life. So of course that's always a desire of a devotee to be with the Lord. Whether we're with the Lord in the material world or spiritual, wherever we are, that's actually the pure desire, you see. But not that even if Krishna gives us liberation, that we're going to then, alright, now we'll go think about the next step. We don't want to just aim our sights at some kind of intermediate stage along the way, as far as possible. If we do, if we get up to that point, we may just get stuck. Someone may know, well, if you want to go from here to Tokyo, there's so many stops on the way. So first let me get to LA, then let me get to the next place. But you know how it is, say a devotee wants to get to India, he's going to work his way first to LA, then he's going to work. What happens probably along the way, he might get stuck up. Sometimes we'll have to stay here. Material life the same. You may not make it. Of course, if you're determined enough, you may still make it. At least you're heading in the right. Therefore, the Shastras encourage, alright, do someone or do devotional service. Because at least they're going in the right direction. But then, there's also the instruction that Krishna Bhakta Niskam Otai Shanto Mukti Bhukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Oshanto, that one should try to aim at the ultimate, pure devotion, you see, without any separate tinge. And it's very complex. It may not just be, you see, it may not just be that, it's pure Tama or pure Raja or pure Sattva. It may be 2 parts Sattva, 1 part Tama, and 2 parts Raja. It may be, it can maybe add 27 different combinations. And then again 3, get 81 different combinations. A devotee may have, so many different kinds of subtle little things there. It may actually be 0 Tama, 0 Raja, 0 Sattva, but then a third of a part of Sattva, slight mixes there. Just even then a tinge of attachment for this particular thing over that. So of course that's all very complicated, it may seem. Therefore, to just simplify the whole thing, we try to just understand what are the 8 prayers of Lord Chaitanya, where he gives the Shikshastakam, where he says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundaring kavitang va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmani share bhavatat bhakti ahaituki tvai. No desire for wealth. Na dhanam, na janam. No desire for so many followers. Na sundari. Not desire to enjoy more sense gratification. When I say sundari, beautiful women, this means the enjoying mood. To enjoy, you see, sex life, to enjoy the opposite sex. That means for a woman, sundari, even though it may be written in the feminine, that means for them it may be man or any object of enjoyment like that. Lord Chaitanya, he didn't have the desire. He gave it out. I don't want these things. Nadanam nadanam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaya mama janmani janma ishvare bhavatad bhakti haitu kichai. The janma jamanishvare, even birth after birth, all I want is your causeless devotional service. Even birth after birth. No matter no matter what you do, you see, whether you take me this birth or whether you say, oh, you wait another birth. Still, I simply want to engage in your devotional service. I have no other desire. I simply want to engage in your causeless devotional service. There's no other goal in my life. That is a pure devotee. Not material, not even spiritual desire. Not any even spiritual separate motive. Simply the motive serve Krishna. Whatever is pleasing to you, Krishna. That's my only goal, my only objective. Therefore, the devotee can actually taste the real nectar, which is love of Krishna. Because there's no short circuits. There's nowhere where that energy is being diverted. It's going directly to Krishna. In the 8th sloka of the Shikshastakam, where he says that whether you embrace me, or whether you trample me under your feet, or throw me aside, whatever you do, you are my only master. So the devotee, because they surrender unconditionally to Krishna. Unconditional surrender. The Krishna says, Jai jata mam prapadyante tang sataiva bhajamyaham. According to how you approach me, I will reciprocate with you. The devotee knows that he has the most wonderful qualities. All good qualities are only coming from here. He's the reservoir of all good qualities. Gunodam. Not that the devotee fully surrenders unto Krishna, Krishna is going to neglect that devotee in any way. If for any reason he keeps the devotee in any kind of suspense, it's simply to increase the desire of that devotee. Just like Krishna apparently left Vrindavan, although he was there in his bhava rupa, in his bhava form. That gave the residents of Vrindavan an even more intense experience of love for Krishna. Was it Akapadam Nagachiti or something like that? It doesn't even take one step out of Vrindavan. But he became invisible for a while just to increase that love for the devotee. Because Krishna's presence and non-presence is not different. When a devotee is fully desiring the presence of Krishna, sometimes that devotion is more intense. Even we saw with Srila Prabhupada, this type of a circumstance. The devotees are always hankering, when will we see Prabhupada? When will we see Prabhupada? Always thinking Prabhupada is coming, he's coming. Very high level of enthusiasm, of anticipation, of desire, it comes up. Right? Then the spiritual master comes. There's that union, wonderful experience. Everyone's jumping and crying and shouting. Right? Then he gives the first couple lectures. But then gradually the devotee may start to become distracted again, start remembering other things. And then even though the spiritual master is there, mind may go off. Just due to not being at that level, or just due to nature, whatever you want to call it. So, in such a circumstance, then what was better? That was better that when in anticipation they were in a higher level of Krishna consciousness even than when in presence. Because when he wasn't there, there was no opportunity to think of anything else because of that feeling of separation. And when he's there, then some kind of, after a while, some self-satisfaction or some type of taking for granted of the whole situation. Then again the mind may go off. Or that intensity, it can be a little bit reduced. Even someone who's not materially going to go off anywhere, but still the intensity can change. So that's why you're always seeing that there's always this coming and going, union and separation. It just adds the spice of life is variety, right? Variety is the spice of life. So not that every time it's all the same. Sometimes Krishna's there, sometimes he's not. Apparently there, actually Krishna is always there. But sometimes he's visible, sometimes he's invisible. So for the devotees, that creates all various type of emotions and anticipations and desires, which are all very relishable on the spiritual platform. If you offer any of the Vrijavasis that, alright, this Krishna has left you. Okay, Lalita Visakha, Krishna has left you, so you come off and, go some other place. What's the use? You think they care for any other place or any other thing? They're absorbed. So much so, Uddhava went there to give them instruction. My dear Brijvasis started to give them lessons in philosophy and everything. And then he saw that what was the level of their devotion. That how absorbed they were, how Radharani is lecturing, how speaking to the bumblebee. So they're all mad after Krishna. That their absorption in Krishna and service to Krishna was so intense that he couldn't even conceive at all. It was beyond. He just then started to pray that just if I can somehow in my future life maybe become a little creeper here in Vrindavan, then they may put their lotus feet on my head. That would be the highest perfection for me. To somehow or another get the association of these exalted souls. Their devotion is so pure that it's inexplicable. Uddhava was already the friend of Krishna. He can walk in Krishna's. He can walk right in Krishna's room anytime. Someone else, even Brahma, he has to knock on the door. Wait a while, will you? Which Brahma, right? But no, Uddhava, he can walk right in. Anytime. He was saying. But then he saw the gopis and he's Hare Krishna. Their devotion is inconceivable. Why did Krishna send him there? Not only to be messenger, but to learn. So, devotional service is a great science. It's a great science, and it is to be understood only from the pure devotees. You can't understand the pure devotion from anyone else. You see, not from the impersonalists, not from the karmakandi, not from the yogis. The contemporary modern the guru, a lot of them try to teach a little bit of bhakti yoga, yes, and they throw a little bit in. They have no idea about bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga cannot be taught by anyone else except for a bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga can give you the rundown and teach you some other system. Just like Vidura taught Dhritarashtra, right, you do mystic yoga. So those are all contained. It's just like when you go up to the PhD level, you're in a different level. You don't have to sit for final exam anymore. There you have to write your thesis. Right? You have to publish a book. So like that, the exams for the pure devotees are not the same as the mystic yogi has to mechanically, alright, now shift the airs, Kundalini chakra, homing in, then up, mechanically controlling, tuning everything in with the body. It's not like that, you see. It's not mechanical anymore. When it comes in a higher devotional service, it requires. Even the beginning devotion of Vidhi Bhakti, there's mechanical. When you get into the more intense devotional service, the one has to just become more and more straightforward with Krishna, with the Guru, has to become more and more honest. Therefore, even a devotee may have difficulties sometimes, has to be thoroughly honest. Sattvatam, Sinvatam, you see. One has to be thoroughly honest, straightforward. Then one can make advancement in devotional service at the highest levels. You see, in the beginning, of course, anything on the cause of devotion is no loss. But as one is getting more and more responsible, then one has to become more and more honest, straightforward with Krishna. See, there's no other morality. The only morality is following the orders of the spiritual master and Krishna, being completely straightforward in devotional service. That is the morality. Hare Krishna.